You're still waiting for the world to be fair, aren't you? You believe that your hard work, your goodness, will be rewarded.
I did everything right. I followed all their rules. So why do I keep losing to people who don't?
Because you were taught the rules for the pawns. Today, you learn the rules for the kings.
Power is not taken. It is seen, understood, and then claimed by those who dare. Most people never even notice the game. They wake up, follow routines, seek comfort, and then wonder why life feels like it's closing in around them. But there are others, few, quiet, precise, who study the currents of human behavior. They learn how to move through the world not by brute force, but by strategic awareness. These are the people Niccolò Machiavelli was writing for. Not tyrants, not monsters, but those who refuse to live with their power buried under guilt, fear, and self-doubt. Machiavelli's teachings aren't for the cruel, they're for the awake, the ones who no longer want to be played by the world, but who choose to play it wisely. This is the transformation from victim to leader. To think like a leader, you must first stop expecting the world to be fair. It is the first and most difficult step. The victim lives in a constant state of protest against reality. They want people to be kinder. They want justice to be automatic. They want reward to follow effort like a law of nature. But there is another important teaching. The importance of being fearsome for visibility is well highlighted by Machiavelli. The goal is not to be fearsome, but to be seen as so. You do that by winning important battles and making them echo throughout your network, while simultaneously choosing smaller fights to forego. Agents of power also use image and reputation to their advantage. Think of it as a shield against dangers and a platform for your future actions. In other words, becoming intentionally fearsome takes both courage and extra steps to make it happen, which also goes a long way in building success. In the marketplace of human interaction, there are two primary currencies, affection and respect. The victim spends his entire life trying to accumulate affection. The ruler seeks only respect. Affection is the currency of the agreeable. It is earned by pleasing others, by softening your opinions, by saying yes when you mean no. It is a fragile currency, dependent on the moods and whims of others. The moment you stop pleasing them, the currency becomes worthless. The desire to be liked is a trap that keeps you weak, predictable, and exploitable. Respect, however, is a hard currency. It is not given freely, it is commanded. It is forged from perceived strength, competence, and the unwavering defense of your own standards. Unlike affection, respect can be given begrudgingly. People do not have to like you to respect you. They respect the person who cannot be easily moved, the person whose no is final, the person whose presence signals value. The great paradox is that the man who chases affection often gets neither affection nor respect, but the man who commands respect often finds that affection is given to him as a byproduct. People are drawn to strength. They secretly admire the person who is unafraid to stand alone. Your goal is not to be liked. Your goal is to be effective. And effectiveness is the foundation of all genuine respect. Second, the posture. Weakness contracts, power expands. A man who feels inferior makes himself smaller. He hunches his shoulders, crosses his arms, keeps his feet close together. He apologizes for the space he occupies. To command respect, you must reverse this. Stand straight. Pull your shoulders back and down. Keep your head level. Take up space. When you sit, do not perch on the edge of the chair. Sit back, relaxed, as if you belong there more than anyone else. This is the foundation of confident body language. Third, the economy of speech. The victim over-explains. He uses a flood of words to justify himself, to seek validation, to fill uncomfortable silences. He gives away information and leverage for free. The leader understands that words are a scarce resource. He speaks less, which makes his words more valuable. He uses strategic silence. A pause before answering a question doesn't signal uncertainty. It signals that you are considering your answer because your words have weight. It forces others to wait for you, subtly asserting your control over the rhythm of the interaction. Now that you understand the outer theater, you must build the inner fortress. All the powerful posture in the world is useless if you are a slave to your own emotions. Every time you react impulsively, you surrender your power. Emotional reactivity is a luxury a leader cannot afford. Consider this scenario. A rival at work makes a subtle, insulting comment about your project in a meeting. The victim feels a surge of anger and defensiveness. He lashes out, tries to defend his honor, and in doing so, looks emotional and weak. He has fallen into the trap. The rival has successfully controlled him. The leader feels the same anger, but he does not act on it. He pauses. He holds his rival's gaze. He might offer a calm, disarming smile, or say nothing at all, letting the awkwardness of the insult hang in the air. He has refused to be played. He has demonstrated that he cannot be provoked. In that moment, who holds the power? This is what Machiavelli meant by being feared. It is not about terror. It is about being someone whose emotional core is unreachable and whose reactions are unpredictable. But this goes deeper than just control. You must also learn the strategic use of emotion. This is an advanced technique in dark psychology. Sometimes a calculated display of anger is necessary to establish a firm boundary. It sends a clear message: do not cross this line again. It is not a loss of control, it is a demonstration of it. Similarly, a calculated show of vulnerability can disarm rivals and build trust with allies. The leader is not emotionless. He is the master of his emotions, deploying them as tools to achieve his objectives, rather than being a victim of them.
This is the core philosophy of Think Abyss. It is about mastering your inner world so you can navigate the outer world with power. If you are ready to stop being reactive, declare it. Write in the comments below, "I control myself." Acknowledge your new commitment. The victim takes the world at face value. The leader sees the world as a chessboard. To think like a leader, you must stop consuming life passively and start decoding it. Every interaction is a negotiation. Every conversation is a data point. You must accept human nature as it is, not as you wish it to be. If you expect everyone to be good, you will be betrayed repeatedly. If you understand that people are driven by self-interest, you can create conditions where doing the right thing also benefits them. That is the genius of strategy. Start asking yourself the strategist's questions. What does this person truly want? What do they fear losing? What are they insecure about? A leader is always decoding, always learning, always adapting. The victim sees rejection and collapses. The leader sees rejection and studies it. Why did this happen? What was the miscalculation? What pattern is at play? This is not about cold manipulation. It's about developing emotional intelligence on a strategic level. You're allowed to feel. You're not allowed to be ruled by your feelings. The mission is bigger than your mood. The outcome is more important than your ego. This clarity is a shield. When you know your own direction, distractions become obvious. When you know your own value, flattery becomes transparent. This clarity is earned in solitude and study. Most people are too distracted by the noise of the world to ever achieve it. The leader cultivates stillness. In stillness, he plans. In solitude, he strengthens.
Now for a core Machiavellian principle that is often overlooked. You are judged and empowered or weakened by the company you keep. Your associations are not passive. They are a statement of your value and your trajectory. A high-value mindset requires a high-value circle. First, understand the law of proximity. Power is infectious. By associating with people who are respected, ambitious, and powerful, their aura reflects onto you. Conversely, if you constantly associate with victims, complainers, and cynics, their energy will infect you, and their low status will become your own. You must become a ruthless curator of your circle. Learn to identify fountains and drains. Fountains are people who create energy, opportunity, and inspiration. They challenge you, they build, they act. Drains are people who consume energy. They complain, they create drama, they are mired in self-pity. A leader cultivates relationships with fountains and builds a wall against drains. This is not about being unkind. It is about protecting your most valuable resource, your energy and attention. Now we come to the final, most absolute law. The silent force that shapes the lives of kings and beggars alike. Assumption. Not luck, not skill, not even intelligence. Assumption. The man who assumes he is powerful begins to act that way. The man who assumes he is irrelevant begins to fade. And here is the brutal truth. The world will treat you exactly the way you believe it should, because you do not become what is true. You become what you accept. The man who assumes he is beneath others enters every room asking for permission. He looks down. He apologizes for taking up space. He speaks carefully so as not to offend. And what does the world see? They see someone who should be overlooked. They mirror his own beliefs. And so he is trampled, not because others are cruel, but because he invited them to do it. But then, there is another kind of man. The man with an alpha mindset. He assumes he is the most valuable person in the room. He assumes his ideas matter. He assumes others are drawn to his presence. And from that core assumption, he moves differently. And here's the terrifying part. People begin to treat him accordingly. Because once again, the world does not investigate you. It reflects you. And assumption is the script it reads from. You must ask yourself right now, what assumptions are you carrying that are keeping you in a cage? Do you assume people aren't interested? Do you assume you are not worthy of commanding attention? Do you assume you must wait your turn? These thoughts are not harmless. They lead you, they define you, they shackle you. And worst of all, they are self-fulfilling. Here is a practical exercise. For 1 week, Walk into every room with the core assumption that you are the most knowledgeable and powerful person there. Do not announce it, just feel it. Observe how your posture changes. Observe how your willingness to speak up changes. And most importantly, observe how others respond to this new unspoken broadcast. You don't need permission to act powerful. You act powerfully and permission follows. You don't wait for people to recognize your worth. You behave as if your worth is self-evident. Your identity is not waiting to be discovered. It is waiting to be declared. Seeing the game is the first step to mastering it. If this approach to power dynamics and psychology resonates with you, subscribe to Think Abyss and hit the bell icon. The lessons here are not found in mainstream self-help. You came here because you feel overlooked. The truth is cruel. The world does not obey effort. It obeys presence and certainty. Now you understand. Act as if you are the king, not because you need to prove it, but because no one will believe it until you do. Assume your power. Wear your confidence like a crown and move like a man who knows how to command respect. Because once you stop asking for permission, once you stop apologizing for existing, once you stop waiting to become enough, that's when the world begins to kneel. Not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. Power is not granted, it is assumed, and those who dare to assume it rule. So I will ask you one last time. Who are you going to be the moment this video ends? The wolf that starves because it waits for fairness? Or the wolf that eats because it understands the hunt? The answer decides everything.